So allow me to share a little bit of introduction regarding the Gospel of Luke. Okay, so there are four Gospels in the New Testament: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Three of the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, are called Synoptic Gospels because they have almost same style of writing. Now, it is believed that Mark was the first one that was written by Mark in AD 70, and then Matthew and Luke took the materials from Mark and they expanded it and added different things into their writings. Okay, so that's why it's called synoptic, because the three of them have similar views of Jesus Christ, although there are some variants into it, but it's almost similar. Now, Luke was a Gentile. He was not a Jew. He was a doctor. It is believed that he was a doctor. And he was Paul's traveling companion. We see that in the book of Acts, the writer of the book of Acts, in the first 15 chapters, when he was writing the book of Acts, he kept referring to Paul and his companions as they. They traveled, they went here, they went there. But then in Acts chapter 16, verse 10, he started writing it as we. We went here, we went there. So you can look it up, all right? So it is believed that Luke, who is believed to have written the Gospel of Luke and also the book of Acts, was actually Paul's traveling companion. Okay? So why did he write this? He wrote it to a man called Theophilus. Okay? We're not really sure who Theophilus was, but it is assumed that he was a Gentile, and Luke was writing this gospel to inform Theophilus about Jesus Christ, about what had happened to Jesus Christ, and how the gospel had been carried onwards, carried forth by the apostles, Peter, and then later on by Paul. So he was writing the accounts for Theophilus, but he was also writing it for the Jews and the Gentiles. He wanted to make it clear to the people about what really happened to Jesus Christ, and who is he really, and why is this such a big deal about Jesus Christ, that people were getting stirred up in different cities and different regions, So he wanted to write the accounts, and probably also because he had traveled with Paul, he saw how people were believing in Jesus Christ, and he possibly saw how there were false teachings that were coming into the churches. So he wanted to make it straight, make the record straight, the accounts to be straight, so that there won't be any twisted teachings. Another theory, it is believed that since Paul, at the end of the book of Acts, Paul was imprisoned in house arrest in Rome, so he had to go to trial. So it is possible that his lawyers needed some documents to present to the court that Paul was innocent, and they had to go back to the history of who Jesus was and all those things. And this documents that Luke wrote, the Gospel of Luke and the book of Acts, may have been presented in the court in Paul's defense. So we're not really sure what really happened, but those are some of the theories. Now, the book of Mark presented Jesus as the Son of God, and the book of Luke presents Jesus as the Son of Man. Now, the Son of Man, some believe that it is presenting the humanity of Jesus. But then if you look at the Old Testament, in Ezekiel and the book of Daniel, the Son of Man, yes, it was describing somebody in bodily form, but this character actually had divine nature in him when he was presented in the Old Testament. So there was this divinity in that Son of Man. So we can say that if you take the understanding of the Old Testament on the word Son of Man, it's referring to a divine character that was in human form. And that was fulfilled in Jesus Christ. Okay? So Jesus was God in the form of man, and so the power of the divine power flowed through him. So that is some things about the book of Luke, and it's going to be interesting. And Luke was a Gentile, so he saw things from a Gentile point of view, and he wanted Gentiles to believe in Jesus Christ. So he was presenting it to them, and he was also presenting it to the Jews. There are a lot of interesting accounts here in the book of Luke, and especially the Christmas story and other things. You know, the birth of John the Baptist are presented here. I hope you will enjoy reading the book of Luke, and I hope you will grow and know God through it. God bless you.